Last week, Wander Franco of the Tampa Bay Rays did a very cool thing. Wander Franco snagged that ground ball, flipsy-doodled that thing to himself, fired a seed across the diamond, all while looking snazzy doing so. This, by the way, is a home run ball, batting practice, doesn't matter, that I caught way back when off the bat of Mookie Betts. So I am a talented athlete, kinda like Wander Franco. This show of athleticism and excellence pissed off old people. Shocker. Baseball's a children's game. It's for children. Sports are meant to teach children how to develop as human beings. Wander Franco had fun playing a kid's game. Sue him! So in the spirit of the unwritten rules that we hear about all the time, guys, there's a reason they're unwritten. They're not rules. But in the spirit of unwritten rules, I asked Twitter, bingo bango, what their unwritten rules were for MLB The Show. I will share a few of those today. As always, welcome back to Whiteboard Wednesday, and thank you so much for being here for another week. If you've yet to do so, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We are so close to 1,000 subs. That's YouTube partnership. That's a huge goal of mine. Please help me get there. I will love you eternally. And even if you think Wander Franco did a bad thing, I won't hate you as much. Also very important, I will be including the Twitter handles of the people who suggested these things to me on my handy-dandy whiteboard here. Go drop a follow. They're all homies. They're all pretty cool. Shout out to the homie Ty guy for helping out with this one. He tweets, great question. It is. That's why I asked it. I'll go with bunting each time a player with 90+ speed is up at the plate. So yeah, you guys know my stance on bunting in video games. You also know that my baseball career was largely defined by bunting. But that's real-life baseball, MLB The Show, very, very different. In MLB The Show, there are very few situations in which a bunt is okay. And if you have a lineup filled of 90+ speed demons, excuse me, I can't speak, I'm talking too fast because it's about speed. But if you have a team, now I'm going to slow down, of 90+ speed demons, up and down, 1 through 9, and you start bunting like crazy, let me tell you, I'm going to hate you. We're not going to have a good time. I agree. There should be an unwritten rule. If you have a whole team of 90+ speeds, you're only allowed to bunt like twice a game, max. That's it. Otherwise, the cops are coming to find you. John Bear here was not the only person to put this down, which must mean it's an epidemic, and I can agree. Please stop holding R2 or RT for you Xbox people when you're at the plate. You can do it one time. Check what my pitcher's throwing. That's it. At most, you have to remember 5 pitches. It doesn't require that much mental capacity where every third pitch, you gotta hold R2. Oh crap, what does he throw? Oh, it's circle change, not a Vulcan change. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Just know the 5 pitches he throws and expect them to come at some point. What's even worse is people who just lay the weight all the way down on that right trigger button is people who do the taps. R2 tap, RT tap, R2 tap. Because they're not just looking for the pitches. They're trying to F up your pinpoint, or F up your tempo, or F up your timing. And yeah, I get it. Maybe there's some competitive strategery going on there. But it's cheesy, it's toxic, it honestly really is. If you want to be considered like a good competitor, just stop doing it. My good friend Shane Payne, the best mod on Twitch, there you go. See, Shane, I gave you a shout out. The best mod on Twitch. 2 things I'd like to bring up that he brings up that I agree with. God damn it, everybody, hit the X button, or the A button, if you play Xbox. When the game is loaded in, when the cut scenes are going, when the home run's going over the fence, you make a diving play in the field, you name the situation. Hit the damn button. Progress the game. Yes, I've committed time to playing this video game. I'm not trying to play an hour and 15-minute ranked seasons game unless it goes 26 innings. There is just no reason in which a game should go more than 45 minutes, maybe an hour. The only reason it would? People not hitting the damn X button. And what goes along with that, at least on the topic of speeding games up, we don't have a pitch clock in MLB The Show. God forbid they add that. But pause spamming. The fact that the pause timer regenerates is just the dumbest, one of the dumbest things. There's many dumb things in MLB The Show, but it's up there. It's incredibly stupid that you can pause for 30 seconds, have your timer go down to like, I don't know, 2 minutes, and then an inning later, it's back up to the full 2.5, 3-minute pause timer. Stop pause spamming. Unless you actually have to take a shit, please stop pausing for prolonged periods of time. Maybe you gotta answer a text, that's fine, 10 seconds. Maybe you want to go to the bullpen. Listen, you can go to the bullpen, you can go check your bench all you want. That is an acceptable time to use the pause menu. But if you're just pausing because like your opponent hit a home run and you're a little sad person, grow up. Stop doing that. King JBG brings up a great point. By the way, King JBG, one of the very few people I've encountered who I played while I was streaming, came into the Twitch chat, was like, hey, you're real good. And I was like, hey, you're real good. And now we both follow each other on Twitch and Twitter. It's pretty cool. Dashboarding. Stop doing it. You need PXP. I need PXP. We need PXP. We could all be out here like Oprah. You get some. You get some. Let's just start giving out the PXP. If I hit a home run in your dashboard, especially when you know I'm grinding the new monthly event or whatever the hell it is, you are a subhuman, and I hate you. I wish there was a way, if a no doubt animation is triggered after you've hit the ball, that the game automatically registers that it's a home run for PXP purposes. If it's a no doubter and your batter is already pimping and jogging himself out of the batter's box, it should count as a homer whether it's dashboarded or not. I feel like that programming wouldn't be too hard, but who am I? I am but a lowly content creator who can barely stream effectively without something breaking. Twitch.tv/kdjTV. Thank you. My good buddy Slice brings up an incredible pet peeve of mine. I hate, despise, cannot stand queuing into an online game, whatever mode it is, events, BR, ranked, you name it, and it's a max elevation, either created stadium, like I've listed here, or one of these 3 new toxic hellholes that SDS thought would be a good idea to introduce into the game. I don't care what your team's record is. I don't care who your pitcher is. I don't care if I even know you're a top 50 player in the game. You could be a worst 50 player in the game. If I queue into a ranked game and I see this, I am offering you a friendly quit. It's not because I don't want to, I'm going to lose to this guy. I don't care about losing. I want to enjoy my gameplay experience. And if I'm playing at one of these, I can guarantee I'm not going to enjoy it. Why stress myself out? I am an adult. There's enough stress in my life. I have to pay bills. This is not something I'm going to stress about when I have pretty much complete control over who I can play. JT O'Brien 99 says you should not replay home runs. Largely, 90% of the time. I say I agree. There are a handful of instances in which I think it's fine. Number 1, if your opponent's being toxic, I'm going to be toxic right back. It's going to be a toxic fest. I am going to replay home runs. I'm going to replay diving plays at second base. I'm going to replay pretty much everything possible. Why? Because you're making my life hell. So now I will return the favor. There are 2 other times, in my opinion, that I think it's okay. 1, if they replay first. If they replay first, it becomes a replay off. Secondly, if you hit a nuke, and I'm talking about Sammy Sosa in the home run derby at Coors Field nuke. If you hit one that you think is 500, I think it's okay to replay it. And it's not a shove it in your face thing. It's more of like, I want to see the number 500 at the bottom of the screen. I think, in my opinion, replaying a homer that goes 500 is totally acceptable. But largely, if we're playing in these stupid created stadiums and the ball goes 396 over the wall, hell, it might even go shorter than that. It might go 346. Please don't replay that, because I will scream internally to a probably dangerous level. I might even have to be hospitalized. I have to be honest, I'm very guilty of this one. But my good friend Scotty thinks that this is an unwritten rule that should be followed, and I don't disagree necessarily. He thinks that if you're in co-op and you can tell that one player's a god and the other player's a shitter, you should not just intentionally walk the better player every time. As I said, I'm guilty of it. I've done it. I have chosen to pitch to the shitter every time and just load the bases with the good player. You can use your judgment if you think that's toxic. It probably very much is. You could also argue it's a winning strategy. But yeah, I can see the point why that might piss a ton of people off. Here I am talking about not being toxic, and this might be the most toxic thing I've ever done. But it's also great for the memes, and we love the memes on the internet, so let's create some memes. For the final unwritten rule, at least for this video, I'm going to add my own. You should follow me on Twitter, at kdjTV611, for more fun takes and prompts for Whiteboard Wednesday. But I have a giant problem with people who bunt and or steal, knowing that they're about to manipulate an animation that gets automatically triggered by the game. There are strategic times in which bunting and stealing makes sense. I'm not necessarily saying you should wholesale across the board, never do them. But please, don't bunt. But let's say you're in the field, you're pitching. There is a runner on second base. Your opponent lays down a bunt, pushes it to third base. Because the player is stealing second to third, your third baseman covers the bag. That's the smart thing to do. But because of the way the stupid animations work in this game, your third baseman is now locked on that base. He does not go attack the ball. So it does not matter if the bunter is 30 speed or 99 speed. The player is safe by a mile. And yeah, maybe you could say it's a good placed bunt. It very well might have been. But at the same time, there are players, human beings, who know that that is a manipulation because the player is locked into an animation and can't move. That's a larger problem with the video game than it is with the toxic players doing it. However, I think it's an unwritten rule. There are certain things we should not exploit. Right? Like there was the tournament last year where there was like the pause spam manipulation for somebody trying to go to the bullpen or something like that. That's toxic. That's awful. It's an unwritten rule you shouldn't do. To some extent, I put this in that same category. That'll do it for this week's Whiteboard Wednesday. Let me know down in the comments down below what you think about these unwritten rules, if you have other unwritten rules, and what you thought of Wander Franco's categorically very cool play that he did at shortstop. Also, just wanted to take a moment at the end of this video, give a special shout out to everybody who supported the Shlomo Lipitz, The Show, the podcast episode that dropped on Tuesday. That was such a cool moment for me to have a player in the game that we love out of nowhere so much, and for then that player to be so generous with his time. Shlomo Lipitz gave me an hour of his time, someone he's never met before, to interview him for the podcast. So if you guys have not watched that, make sure you go back to Tuesday's video and watch that. But generally, just wanted to thank everybody so much for loving that episode. Again, I had a blast. It was totally fun. And maybe we'll talk to Shlomo again soon. Who knows? Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you in next week's Whiteboard Wednesday.